There you go.
All right. This is the mayor-manager meeting on Tuesday, September 21st, about 8:35. And in the room, Teams room, is Linda Olson, Jade Truscott-Reed, Shawn Lewis, Stephanie Carlisle, Tim Dodd, and Tamara Niles. And I think, I'm not sure exactly where Nathaniel is, but I do know he's out, so.
All right, thanks, Mayor. We'll start with September 27th. We have financial report for August. They proposed 2022 budget workshop to finalize the budget. Oh, based on the public hearing last night, I don't believe we'll need that. Did you hear anything, Linda, that needed to change?
No. The only question for info was really about the chamber, wasn't it? The financials for the chamber?
Yes, and Chris is going to upload those today to the iCompass. Yes, thank you. So we shouldn't need this workshop. We'll take that off the agenda. And then we've got discussion on public consumption areas within the city, and yeah. And next we have the ARPA spending. This is just our proposed spending list. As it stands today, it's still in draft format. We may even have another study session, mainly as we wait for the final guidelines to come out. We're currently working on interim guidelines. So, and then innovative housing strategy planning session. And this is really specific to a DOLA application that, Mayor, I think you recommended for discuss how to increase affordable housing options. And then recommendation for revisions to the code regarding trees and shrubs recommended by SEAC. And then executive session to discuss matters of attorney-client privilege.
Jade, can you enlarge it just a bit? I am only on one screen today. Thank you.
Yeah, so we need to put a time on the, well, we won't have to put a time on proposed workshop. We've already got a time on public consumption, ARPA, strategies, shrub discussion time.
Do you think that'll take very long?
I don't know. Tamara, do you have any insight into that?
No, I really don't.
Is it pretty straightforward? I mean, have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it. Well, just from the memo that I think was sent out to all of us.
Gotcha.
But I know they've studied it, and they are, the Code Enforcement Advisory Council is recommending a change to municipal code. So I don't think it's going to be anything controversial.
So 10 minutes of a presentation and then 15 minutes discussion.
I think that's fine.
Okay.
I have that noted. I'm happy to refresh the screen as we go. Are you all okay with that if I refresh?
Sure.
Sure.
All right. All right, so I think we're ready to go on to October, aren't we? Yeah. All right, so we will, Mayor, you may notice that we pushed off the Eve discussion was on a previous meeting, and we're going to have to push it off of this one too. Okay. We decided to give outside counsel for Eve a month to really give a little bit better, more thorough legal analysis, and Tamara can speak more to this, but it requires us to take a little more time on this.
And I am meeting with outside counsel October 6th to discuss it. So okay. I anticipate it will probably be at least a few weeks after that before we get the analysis back.
Right.
Would you like me to tentatively move this to November 1st?
Yes, please.
That makes sense to me.
Is there a are council members asking about this? Do we need to put something in your manager's report so they know what's happening, or?
I did brief Steve Ward in my meeting with him last week, and I think that's the only meeting I had late last week after we discussed this and decided. So I'll talk to them about it in my one-on-one. But
Okay.
yes, I'll put that in my report too. That's a great idea.
Okay. Sounds good.
He, I think, has been the most adamant about it. And I did try to explain that there is a lot to unwind that we need to really think through before we pull the trigger.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's not been done already.
Yeah.
So,
And then we have, let's see, the resolution for the Innovative Housing Strategy Planning Grant from DOLA, assuming that it goes well with council and study session. We will have under recognition proclamations, the introduction of our new HR director, Shawn.
oh, this is going to be fun. Shawn squared.
Mhm. Our leadership team cannot not have multiple of the same names on it.
Yes, or
Crazy.
oh my, too
I
fun.
may become Jay Shawn. I've got a rap that I'm working on introducing me as Jay Shawn. And then we've got a change order for janitorial services at city facilities. This is one more as we really try to right size our in-house versus contract janitorial services. And I think that's it, Jade? No. All right. So we have next award of contract to Hallmark Inc. for construction of a Broadway bridge over Little Dry Creek Bridge. And then Broken T Golf Course Back 9 irrigation renovation. Award of contract for the US 285 congestion mitigation study. Renewal of contract to Terra Care Associates for Eve. And renewal of contract with Keeson for Eve Snow and Ice Services.
Okay. Are any of these consent?
The 3 Eve contracts, those are very similar to the prior contracts. The terms didn't change. Some of the amounts went up a small amount. So I think those might be suitable for consent.
Okay.
Jade, I see you have that one marked, the Keeson contract marked as no, but it sounds like we can change that to yes unless there's the department knows something we don't. Jade?
Sorry, I was muted and I was talking to myself. I will get that changed over right now to yes.
So that'll be
And
the
that is-
Terra Care, Keeson contracts.
And Bets Securing America, that's also a renewal that's
Mhm.
in large
Okay.
part identical.
I will have those 3 put over to yes.
Okay. And, all right, so we'll move on. So we'll put Bets Securing America as a yes. And then the first reading of budget ordinance. And then there are several ordinances that have to be passed for the budget. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we will have adoption of a bill for an ordinance, first reading approval of the Fifield Inglewood Station PUD. And CB 40 IGA with Mile High Flood District for Little Dry Creek project. And overview of the city's snow plowing and ice removal program.
That'll be October 11th.
Oh, thank you. All right, any questions on those?
I'll just mention that now we won't have a study session for that night, it looks like. So just kind of FYI, if we're starting at 6 and all that.
The
There's
4th or the 11th.
Oh,
I'm sorry, what?
on the 4th you're talking about?
Yeah, because we pulled the one study session that we had.
Oh, okay.
right? Am I mixed up?
Nope, you're correct. There is no study session currently scheduled for the 4th. And I do know we discussed about just going ahead and starting the regular session at 6 o'clock. And I believe that's what you're trying to clarify, right, Stephanie?
Yes, because I want to make sure we message that out properly.
Okay, is there anything else from study sessions that you'd like to move in there from the past? I mean, from the forward?
I don't know of anything.
Okay, that's okay. I just want to make sure that we notate it, and so everyone's kind of aware that the regular meeting will just start at 6 p.m.
Great.
Thank you.
And there you go. You have a night with no study session, Stephanie.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Just like that.
You're so powerful.
I'm looking at October 11th, and looks like overview of snow plowing, ice removal will be there for study session. The second one will be overview of city's curb to curb street sweeping program. Those are both public works updates on how that's working. And then we have the framework agreement for LNR for city center. Recognition of Will Charles and Eric Sampson for AICP. Stormwater utility rate increase ordinance first reading. September monthly financial report. Oh, sorry, I went into October 25th. Any questions on these? All right, October 25th is September monthly financial report. And then November 1st, we'll have a Code Next update. And this is where we moved the EVE discussion and budget supplemental for ARPA. This is a placeholder. And I just need to look at the schedule. I don't remember, Jade, if this is the original one or the new one.
No, this was moved. I just pushed it out until we know what for sure the date we are going to bring this back on. I just wanted to keep it there so that way.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, so depending on when the final federal guidance comes out, we'll put this, schedule that. And then also November 1st, motion to approve contract with AEC West for supplemental plan review. And then November 8th, board and commission interviews, November 15th.
Actually, sorry, that was the date we were moving. We just hadn't picked a date to do those. So this is where we've briefly talked about possibly doing like a new council orientation because the election will have happened, but they haven't been sworn in yet. So that was one thing. I know, Shawn, we were gonna talk about different dates for interviews with council to see what would work best.
I do think plugging in that orientation would be a good idea. Good thinking. And then we also can, I think, move the board and commissions. I've gotten feedback from enough council members that I think they want to move it to the latest possible time. It was option B, I think, on your schedule.
Okay, in January. Okay, perfect. We will work on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
And then, yeah, I think that takes us down. I don't think, no. So walk and wheel plan update on the 15th, also consolidated fee schedule that's for the budget. And then November 22nd, October financial report, December B City USA, December 20th, November. So you can see these are just the continuations of.
Yeah, usually we've been out of this since COVID, but usually there's a dinner for the holidays, just one of the Mondays right before we take a break. So I might want to earmark that for the new council.
Okay.
Usually they meet at like 5:30 or something at a restaurant that maybe the new mayor can pick with Krista or something. And then they eat and then come together for a 7 p.m. start. But I mean, maybe they don't want to do that, but that is what the norm was forever.
Oh,
And I heard that from Councilmember Ward that he'd like to, do some things together, but it seemed like there was mixed messages about what people would want to do, but at least do that one.
oh.
I have
Alright.
that.
Go ahead, Jade.
Oh, no, I was just saying I had that noted.
Okay. And I didn't have council requests from last night that I have in my notes. Does anybody else have any?
I just had Councilmember Ward's inquiry regarding risk management. The risk management budget, it wasn't really a formal council request.
Well, do you want to make it one? Do
We
you-
could, I know I had already been working on that issue with finance to study whether it would make sense to bring the property casualty portion under the purview of the city attorney's office, because my actions and decisions largely determine expenditures out of the property casualty side. So
Mhm.
that was something we'd already been exploring, but it's not something I wanted to rush into.
Yeah.
So perhaps we should schedule that for a study session, a presentation on that.
That would make sense. It could bring everybody up to speed that's, new too. So, and I don't think we've had that conversation for a long time.
Sounds good.
I did have a question for you, Shawn, and I don't think this is necessarily a council request, but the candidates that are running right now wonder what kind of access they can have to information and whether they could meet with you to get your perspective on the city at this point. And are you doing anything like that? I know that there's different views about that. I don't know what the legal pieces are, but
Yeah, I have been debating just reaching out to all candidates and just saying, if whatever information you need or updates you need, we're glad to help. That's incumbents and those running. And actually, Tamara, that was something that when Linda and I talked on Friday, she suggested that I double check with you to make sure that that doesn't violate my contract. Certainly, I would be offering the same information to everyone, but also not wanting to involve myself in the elections.
Yes, I don't see a problem with it.
So yeah, I think we'll just double check that clause and yeah, I think, are you suggesting that that would be good, Linda?
well, I got a call from someone last night after the meeting because it was so short,
Mhm.
asking me some questions, and I suggested they reach out to you. And I just thought, if there is a session or, if it's okay to do that, I hope you don't mind. And then I'd hate to have you be meeting with so many different people. So I do remember Gary Sears doing something, and I think I was the only one that went to it. I got a huge update on, I better understood the budget, although I'd gone through 2 budget workshops by that point. So, but yeah, just knowing that people would like to have that time with you. I just wanted you to know that.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. The more informed candidates are, the better off they are in realizing what they're going to have to do and
Mhm.
the ground running if they win. So,
Okay. Yep, I'll get something out this week on that. All right, anything else?
I did have a couple of issues that aren't on iCompass yet. I didn't know if we wanted to consider a resolution in favor of the DDA vote. Of course, FCPA recognizes that council can adopt a resolution in support of a budget item or a vote item. So I didn't know if that was anything we considered.
I would love to see us do it.
What's
Yeah.
the deadline for that, Tamara?
For the resolution,
Uh-huh.
I would just say before the vote.
Oh,
So
okay. I thought
beginning
maybe.
of November.
Gotcha.
So that's certainly flexible. Also, we do have the resolution drafted for the off-leash parks. It just hasn't made it to iCompass yet.
Wow.
Uh,
Okay. I
Council
wanted
member,
to ask about that and I forgot.
yes. And Council member Russell said she'd like to see it soon. So it's ready to go as soon as Christina inputs the item onto
And
iCompass.
I did talk to Christina after the meeting last night, and she said that that could be ready by October 4th. So do we want to, Jade, maybe we can just go ahead and plug that in. She told me she would get that submitted to y'all today.
That would be great. Let's put a placeholder in it for it.
Yep, we can get that in there and have that in there for her.
Great, thank you.
And I had one more. The DDA received the $150,000 grant from CDOT to improve city paseos. And so we will have an MOU that's probably appropriate for consent agenda. By the grant terms, they have to advance the 150,000 and then the cities, and then they are reimbursed for it. So they have asked the city to advance the funds and then be reimbursed by CDOT because they don't have that type of cash sitting around. So we have a proposed MOU that would authorize the city to advance the funds, get reimbursed, and provides kind of an outline of the procedure for the project and the reimbursement mechanism. I have drafted it and sent it over to DDA's council, and I'm just waiting on a response.
I would suggest we put that on regular, not consent, just because it's so new and different.
Mhm.
Fronting money when people don't always understand that. It'll get pulled for sure if we put it in consent, I think. And good for them to get that.
Yes, it's the IGA says they will do exactly that, and they've followed through, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's a positive for the public to hear too. So let's leave it on regular. Yeah, I guess there's pros and cons to doing a support of the DDA resolution or ballot issue. If it doesn't pass, that's not helpful.
Yes, and it could solicit pro comments, but also negative comments.
Yeah, I guess could somebody reach out to the DDA to ask them if they want us to, given the, it's not going to be a unanimous vote, I don't think, given, who knows? I mean, if it wasn't a unanimous vote, is that helpful or not?
That's a great question. I'm glad that they reach out.
Thanks.
Shawn, I brought it up, so I would be willing to take this one on if.
Oh, okay, great, thanks.
Sounds good. Anything else? All right. Time is 8:55 a.m. and this mayor manager meeting is adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.